is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
For so many of us, danger is a thing to be avoided. Not so for Officer Breanne Leith. That's because rather than turn away, Officer Leith turned toward the danger. She heard the call, and she went bravely toward that which could do her harm.
An IMPD officer killed in the line of duty, remembered for her bravery and compassion. This morning, a look back at the life and legacy of Officer Breanne Leith. Plus, for those struggling with drug addiction, social distancing won't stop a potential fatal overdose.
If you think it won't happen to you, then carry it for everybody else. We cannot find recovery without life.
This morning, a Kokomo woman's mission to get a life-saving drug into the hands of every Hoosier.
We don't want to be part of the problem with COVID-19 and the spread of it. We want to be part of the solution.
And a local company is changing the way they do business to help stop the spread of the coronavirus in Indiana. How they're keeping employees on the job while helping the community. Good morning. It is Friday, April 10th. Thank you so much for joining us here for Good Morning Indiana. I'm Nicole Griffin. Lauren Casey has the morning off.
Nicole, good morning and welcome to the Good Morning Indiana family. It is great to have you. You've done a great job the past 90 minutes on this Good Friday. We're keeping a close eye on the pandemic, that fatal shooting involving the officer, and of course, our Todd Clausen is following our weekend forecast. And Todd, we have seen it all this week.
Yeah, you know, we have. We've seen some hail. We've seen some tornadoes. We've seen some gusty winds. We've seen some heavy rainfall. And now we've kind of just replaced things with quiet conditions this morning, but just very cold conditions, unfortunately. And that's why we have a freeze warning that's in effect across central Indiana this morning. It'll be replaced by a frost advisory tomorrow morning. So this is the first of what will be 2 very chilly days heading our way. Here is the freeze warning. There's so many warnings and advisories out here for the cold. It's getting a little confusing here this morning. First, it's the freeze warning that's in place. Here's a look at your temperatures. 32 in Greenfield, 32 in Greenwood, as well as Plainfield and Zionsville. It's 32 in Martinsville as well. Region-wide, temperatures within a couple degrees of each other. So everybody is cold. You need to have the jacket. The good news is once we get the sun up, which official sunrise is a little after 7 o'clock here this morning, we'll start to see those temperatures moderate very, very quickly. In fact, we're up to 43 degrees already by the noon hour, and then eventually high temperatures will be topping off right around 48 degrees. Still a little breezy throughout the day today. It's going to make it feel a little bit cooler, but nothing like we saw yesterday with those really, really strong gusty winds. Nicole?
For so many of us, danger is a thing to be avoided. Not so for Officer Breanne Leith. That's because rather than turn away, Officer Leith turned toward the danger. She heard the call, and she went bravely toward that which could do her harm.
The city of Indianapolis mourning the loss of IMPD officer Breanne Leith, who gave the ultimate sacrifice to protect her community. Police say Officer Leith was shot while responding to a domestic violence incident on the east side. She was called to an apartment on Edinburgh Square near 21st and Franklin around 2:45 yesterday afternoon. Investigators say Officer Leith and a woman inside the apartment were shot. The 24-year-old officer later died. The other woman was taken to the hospital and at last check was stable. We are told a suspect is now in custody. Officer Leith leaves behind her fellow IMPD brothers and sisters and also a family who supported her dream to join the force. Our Alyssa Donovan is live this morning with more on the woman behind the badge. Alyssa.
Good morning, Nicole. You know, this is a woman who was just getting started in her career. The 24-year-old graduated from the academy in 2018. She served on the force for 2.5 years before she was shot yesterday. She was a mother. She also leaves behind a young son. Now we know that Officer Leith knew she wanted to be an officer from the time she was very young. It was never a question that she would become a police officer and serve her hometown of Indianapolis. Her family tied into the law enforcement community. Her mother, an emergency response dispatcher, and her father, a reserve deputy for the Marion County Sheriff's Department. Chief Randall Taylor describing Officer Leith as a leader, someone who showed resolve, strength, and compassion while performing a dangerous job.
She's described as a dedicated officer who showed compassion for the community. She is the example of the type of officer we want on this department.
Leith was one of 3 officers responding to that domestic incident Thursday afternoon when she was shot. Police say the shooting occurred before the officers made contact with the people inside of the apartment, and they do have a suspect in custody. And you'll notice around the city today that flags are flying at half-mast. That is in honor of Officer Leith making the ultimate sacrifice. Reporting live, Alyssa Donovan, RTV6.
Alyssa, thank you so much. So much to be said about this officer who loved her community, loved protecting it, loved serving it. Of course, an emotional time for her family and Metro Police. Want to put this all in perspective. The last time that Metro Police had to deal with an on-duty, line-duty shooting was almost 6 years ago, a death of an officer on duty back in July of 2014. IMPD officer Perry Wren was killed in a shootout with Major Davis III. Major Davis III was convicted and is serving time now in state prison. Officer Wren's shooting death happened on July the 5th, 2014. In September 2013, Officer Rod Bradway, he was killed while responding to a domestic disturbance as well, somewhat similar to what unfolded yesterday at the Wellington Village Apartments on the east side. Officer Breanne Leith was a veteran of the Indiana National Guard, as Alyssa mentioned, also a police officer. Her family will have final say about her funeral, whether it is public or not. But the Fraternal Order of Police is ready to coordinate what it calls amended services with full honors. The FOP is already reaching out to law enforcement agencies which have dealt with a line-of-duty death during the COVID-19 pandemic. The FOP says Officer Leith will get full honors, which includes the Honor Guard, the Flag Guard, the caisson, and TAPS. Those who participate will have to do some social distancing, and they can wear a face mask if necessary. This morning, an officer is on guard with Officer Leith's body. That will continue until the hometown hero is buried.
Now to the very latest on the COVID-19 outbreak in Indiana. The State Department of Health now reporting 42 more Hoosiers have died from the virus. A total of 245 deaths have been confirmed in the state. More than 6,000 people have tested positive for COVID-19. 2,415 of those people are in Marion County.
RTV6's Hiring Hoosiers, of course, is all about helping you reach jobs as well as resources. But that's not all. We're also committed to helping you find unemployment resources, especially during this economic crisis caused by the pandemic. More than 133,000 people filed for unemployment this week in Indiana. During the state's daily briefing on COVID-19 Thursday, the Department of Workforce Development's commissioner said the agency has had some technical issues with the filing process.
We have had some complaints or some concerns about calls being transferred, and when they're transferred, they end up getting dropped. We're working with our IT team to make sure that that issue is being addressed.
The Department of Workforce Development is also setting up a website for those who are self-employed or independent contractors who are trying to apply for benefits available under the federal stimulus package. Right now, people trying to apply for those benefits are being automatically rejected by the state's system. This morning, a local company is on a mission to keep its employees on the job during this health emergency. Our Kelsey Anderson shows us how they're doing that while also helping out the community. Kelsey, good morning.
Well, the folks at Williams Comfort Air and Mr. Plumber say it's time for them to stop just being technicians, and it's time for them to get out in the community and help in the best way they can. HVAC and plumbing is considered essential, but the company is taking preventative measures a step further, and they aren't doing any non-essential calls like preventative maintenance and tune-ups. But they still want their employees to maintain a full work week. So now they will do free grocery deliveries for doctors, nurses, first responders, and anyone who is considered high risk in their service area.
This is a win-win. It allows our team to maintain their hours, but also allows them to get a little different feel. We're here for whoever needs us.
All you have to do is place an online grocery order for pickup anytime between 8 and 5, Monday through Friday. The only information they need is your address, the confirmation number, and the store location. You can call and schedule a delivery on the same day or even a week in advance. All they need to know is when and where they need to be so they can help you. Working for you, Kelsey Anderson, RTV6.
All right, temperatures are going to be running a little bit cooler here over the course of the next few days. As you can see, we spike a little bit once we get into the weekend, as highs on Saturday evening and towards Easter Sunday get up to right around 60 degrees. But once we get past that, it is going to be much, much colder as we head into next week, well below the normal high temperature of 62 degrees. We'll talk more about that extended forecast coming up in your Easter weekend forecast as well when Good Morning Indiana continues. The time now is 6:11.
Welcome back to Good Morning Indiana. The U.S. appears to be making progress in slowing the spread of the coronavirus. A model shows fewer deaths by August than previously projected, and President Trump's aides hope to reopen the country by next month. But some officials have lingering concerns. John Lawrence has the details.
There are positive indications in the battle against the COVID-19 pandemic.
Obviously, the deaths remain much higher than we would like to see. But it remains the case that we are seeing signs that we're starting to flatten the curve.
Dr. Anthony Fauci, the director of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, says summer vacations are a possibility. But the head of the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says even once the current pandemic eases, the U.S. can't be caught flat-footed in 2021.
Get prepared for next year, which will be another challenging time.
Dr. Robert Redfield says he wants to improve early case indication, isolation of the sick, and contact tracing.
I think we have to be direct and honest about it. Over the last 10, 20, 30 years, we've underinvested in public health in this nation. We're in the position now of preparing a significant expansion.
The CDC has more than 500 of its people in all 50 states, and the agency is working to increase that number over time.
Get prepared for next year, which will be another challenging time, but I want to be able to have it so we respond to it next year with the fundamentals of public health. We don't have to go to the serious mitigation steps that were taken to get us under control today.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
Back here at home, in addition to the COVID-19 pandemic, folks in Morgan County now recovering from tornado damage. The National Weather Service now confirming on Thursday that an EF1 tornado touched down in Mooresville on Wednesday night. Most of that damage was in the downtown area, as you can see there. The second floor of one of the buildings collapsed. A Mooresville resident described what it was like as that tornado moved on through.
But you could hear like the side of the house just being like hit left and right. So it was definitely terrifying.
There are no reports of any injuries in Mooresville, which is always the good news. And of course, a lot of damage there, but they will recover. Mooresville strong. Now time to check your forecast with our Todd Clausen. And Todd, I almost said good morning Alaska at the top of the newscast, where it's 31 degrees in Alaska right now, by the way. 31 degrees in Alaska. What's going on?
Yeah, we're giving them a run for their money here, Raphael, this morning. You know, what can I say? You know, it's hard to take, especially after we were near 80 degrees earlier earlier in the week, and then that cold front went through the other evening, and that's what ushered in this colder air and prompted the severe weather you were just talking about as well. We're sitting in the 30s, as Raphael alluded to this morning. We're at 32 degrees in Indianapolis, 31 in Martinsville, 30 in Richmond, as well as Crawfordsville, and 33 is the current temperature in Bloomington. The wind not as strong as it was yesterday when we had those real big gusts that were up to about 40 miles per hour. We're still going to see wind gusts 20 to 25 miles per hour on average throughout the day today, and that's enough to make it a little more of a nuisance compared to a problem across the area. So if you're out walking or jogging or riding your bike, you're going to have to bundle up just a little bit. But as we work our way throughout the day, the good news is with lots of sunshine, we will warm up very, very quickly. In fact, by the time we get to the noon hour, you see there, we're at 42 degrees. We'll take the skies from completely clear this morning, and then we'll just build in some fair weather clouds at times throughout the afternoon hours with high temperatures that'll eventually be topping off right around the 49, 50 degree mark. So it's a decent day. It's not an A+ day here since we're in the middle of spring or middle of April, but we can probably give the forecast about a B to V- today just because simply we're below normal. We have a little bit of wind, but the skies are clear right now. This evening, if you do have plans, temperatures will be falling back into the 40s pretty quickly across the area with completely clear skies. Then overnight tonight, we will cool off once again. We had a freeze warning that was in effect this morning and still is until 9 a.m. Tomorrow, it's going to be a frost advisory simply because temperatures are going to be just a few degrees warmer tomorrow morning than they are currently. And then the rest of your weekend forecast, Saturday, partly sunny skies, a temperature right around 58 degrees. Sunday, we bring scattered showers into the forecast with a temperature right around 60. Now, some rain showers will sneak in, as you see on TrueCast here, as we work our way into the evening hours, and then they become a little more numerous as we work our way throughout the day on Sunday. Easter Sunday is not going to be a washout of a day for us, but as the day progresses, the showers will become more numerous, especially the afternoon and evening as the cold front comes through. And with that cold front coming through, boy, look at those temperatures next week. Highs only in the 40s with low temperatures that'll be dipping all the way down into the freezing zone as we get into Tuesday and Wednesday morning. So find that jacket today and then keep it handy for the coming days.
Todd, thank you so much. We're taking a live look outside this morning at I-65 at 30th Street. It is 6:20 right now, and you can see here traffic is starting to pick up a little bit, but no problems to report here in this area if you're heading out the door. Raphael.
Nicole, thank you so much. Opioid overdoses, they remain a major problem during this pandemic, but some Central Indiana police departments have stopped dispensing Narcan because of the health factors during this health emergency. Our Amanda Starantino talked to one woman with some life-saving ideas, and you don't have to leave your home.
Kokomo mother Antonia Sawyer's mission is to help other Hoosiers save lives. Her organization, Ship Happens, provides free life-saving medication that can be used to save someone from a fatal overdose.
If you think it won't happen to you, then carry it for everybody else. We cannot find recovery without life, and naloxone really enables breath. And so if we want to continue to grow a recovery community, we need to make sure that we're carrying this for everyone.
Antonia is social distancing at home to limit the spread of COVID-19. And now she says she is busier than ever. In all of 2019, Ship Happens sent out about 280 kits. As of this April, she has shipped more than 260.
Social distancing and self-isolation are risk factors for overdose. It's extremely important to always have naloxone on hand, but really during this pandemic, people who use drugs are extremely vulnerable to overdose.
It's very simple to get your free naloxone kit from Ship Happens. Just go to the Ship Happens Facebook page, watch this pin video right at the top. It will take you to YouTube to watch a 7-minute clip to be trained. Once you finish watching it, go back to Facebook, send Antonia a private message with your details, and she will get your kit shipped to you right to your home.
If anyone wants a kit and they feel like they're being a burden, they are not. Please do not reach out because you think, oh, I'll save that for someone else. There's plenty of kits to go around. I don't want that to be a concern. Please take advantage of the program if you need a kit, and I'm more than happy to ship it out.
Each kit has 3 vials of naloxone, 3 intramuscular syringes, a treatment referral, quick guide for use, and a copy of Aaron's Law. The kits are a chance to get users on a path to recovery, giving them more life with loved ones.
It's been more about making sure that I'm a resource for other naloxone distribution organizations that are having issues due to social distancing, and I want to make sure that I'm available for them and until that they can reestablish their services, or I can provide outreach until it discontinues.
Working for you, Amanda Starantino, RTV6.
What a great story. Again, another example of the power of one. The group also plans to distribute those kits for free after the pandemic ends. You're watching Good Morning Indiana right here on RTV6.
Back up at Golden Oak Lending.
Welcome back to Good Morning Indiana. Time now for what's trending today. And Raphael, I think people are going to be very excited about this first story.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
Tiger King fans, listen up. Get ready for more murder, mayhem, and madness. Netflix is bringing back its popular docuseries Tiger King. Comedian Joel McHale will serve as host for the 8th episode titled The Tiger King and I. The after-show style episode will include interviews with some of your favorite characters from the show. The Tiger King and I will start streaming this Sunday, April 12th.
Also this weekend, Nicole, listen up. Saturday Night Live will be back on the air with a twist. Actors will perform skits from their homes, so they're going to copy Good Morning Indiana. We're working from home. NBC made the announcement Thursday, releasing this photo on Twitter. It shows the cast in what looks like a Zoom call and features the hashtag SNL at home. No word yet on how long this weekend's episode will be or if it will be pre-recorded. I hope they at least have a 10-second delay because, you know, those folks can get a little crazy on Saturday night.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And listen up to this story here. It'll be a big weekend for sports fans. Basketball is returning to ESPN. The network will air a 2-day horse challenge starting on Sunday. Rumors about the game have been swirling for weeks. The game will be played by current and former NBA and WNBA stars, including Chris Paul, Trae Young, and Tamika Catchings. They will play on courts in or near their homes, and ESPN is carrying the 4-hour event live. I feel like this is going to be very fun to watch. Todd, do you think you'll tune in this weekend for this horse tournament?
Yeah, I'll probably watch it. You know, there's nothing else on TV. It's supposed to be the Masters on this weekend, so we'll definitely be tuning in to watch some form of sports. That is for sure. This morning, there's a freeze warning that's in effect until 9 a.m. We are dealing with temperatures right around freezing, but we warmed to 42 degrees by the noon hour. Then high temperatures eventually this afternoon. They will be topping off right around 50 degrees in the city. A little warmer to the south, a little cooler to the north. A bit of a breeze will be present as well, so make sure you have the jacket handy throughout the entire day today. The time now is 6:27. We're back in just a few minutes.
Well, Todd, if you or anyone in your family belongs to a gym or a health club, check your April statement, because if you're getting charged, our consumer reporter John Matteries has some tips for you so you don't waste your money.
Just about everyone is watching their monthly bills now during this economic crisis. So many gym members are asking, why do we still have to pay our dues if the gym is closed? Michael Buchanan loves working out. He drinks protein shakes and lifts free weights. Like other gyms, his is now closed, but he paid for the full month of March.
Sent corporate an email. I said, are you guys going to close? I don't want to get charged anymore.
He says they offered him a couple of free months at the end of his contract.
Whenever we reopen, we'll put that on the back end of your contract. Whenever you decide to cancel. I don't want to cancel.
Gym members around the country are lighting up social media right now with complaints that even though their club is closed, it continues to take monthly dues out of their checking account. One gym, the New York Sports Club, has been hit with a class action lawsuit for charging members during the coronavirus closure. So we checked and learned that LA Fitness is now easing its policy and says as of April 1st, we have suspended all billings until one or more clubs in your market reopens. Planet Fitness, meantime, says we have frozen all memberships, so you won't be charged for April. 24-Hour Fitness, however, says memberships will be extended for the same period our clubs are closed. So it varies from club to club, which means you need to check with yours and ask for a suspension if it's not automatic.
because they're closed and we don't know what's going on in this troubled time. They could be closed for 7 months, 8 months. It's very conservative, and that's a lot of money.
If you were billed for the month of March and your gym was closed, call and ask about a possible break so you don't waste your money. Working for you, I'm John Madwees. Good morning, Indiana.
This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
Now on Good Morning Indiana on this Friday morning, here's a look at your 6:30 news feed. The city continues to mourn the loss of IMPD officer Breanne Leith. She was called to an apartment on Edinburgh Square near 21st and Franklin Thursday afternoon. That's where she and a woman inside the apartment were shot. Officer Leith later died. The shooting suspect is in custody. More on the life of Officer Leith coming up in 2 minutes here on Good Morning Indiana.
The head of Indiana's Department of Workforce Development admits there have been some technical issues with the state's unemployment filing process. More than 270,000 Hoosiers have filed for unemployment over the past 2 weeks because of the pandemic. The state is also setting up a website for those who are self-employed or independent contractors who are trying to apply for benefits available under the federal stimulus package.
In addition to the impact of the pandemic, the cleanup of tornado damage continues in Morgan County. The National Weather Service now confirms that an EF1 tornado touched down in Mooresville Wednesday night. Several buildings in downtown Mooresville were damaged during the Wednesday night storm. Luckily, no one was hurt. Thanks for starting your Friday morning with us here on Good Morning Indiana. I'm Nicole Griffin. Lauren Casey is off.
Nicole, good morning and welcome to Good Morning Indiana. This is Good Friday, a day of reflection. Also really a somber day in our city in light of that fatal police shooting. We'll have more on that in just a moment. But first, our Todd Clausen with a very, 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 very cold forecast. Todd, it's April, not January. What happened?
I know. Well, you know, the other day we were at almost 80 degrees. It all averages out. We were running well above normal really for much of this month, and now it's a little bit of a reality check here this morning. Freeze warnings are posted across the area for the next couple hours. These will expire starting at 9 a.m., and that's when temperatures will start to climb back above freezing. So we're looking at temperatures right now in and around the metro area that sit at 32 in Plainfield, as well as Greenfield and Greenwood, 35 in Shelbyville, and across the area, everybody's within a couple degrees of each other. So everybody is dealing with these very, very cold conditions. The good news is we'll have plenty of sunshine today. Still a little breezy at times, but high temperatures will eventually top off right around the 50-degree mark. It will probably take most of the afternoon to get there, but eventually we will. The one big jump in the temperature department will be this morning. Once the sun comes up, we'll go from the 30s probably into the 40s very, very quickly.
Todd, thank you so much. Taking a live look outside on your Friday morning. This is our traffic camera at I-65 and 30th Street. You can see here no crashes or anything to slow you down as you head out the door, so it should be an easy commute.
Officer Breanne Leith.
That was a moment of celebration. On November the 16th, 2018, Breanne Leith graduated from the police academy and followed her mother and father into the world of law enforcement. Now Officer Leith lives in the memories of family and friends and the city she loved and she served. Officer Leith, as you know, was killed in the line of duty trying to respond to a call during a domestic disturbance on the city's east side on Thursday. Our Alyssa Donovan is live this morning. And Alyssa, Officer Leith really had roots. Her family was part of law enforcement.
That's right, Raphael. One of the first things that IMPD Police Chief Randall Taylor said about Officer Breanne Leith yesterday was that she grew up knowing that she wanted to be a police officer. She comes from a family of public service. Her mother was a 911 dispatcher and her father a reserve deputy with the Marion County Sheriff's Department. Officer Leith, 24 years old, and she only served for 2.5 years on the force. She was also a mother. She leaves behind a young son. IMPD Police Chief Randall Taylor described Leith as the type of officer you want on the force. Strong, compassionate, a true leader who was well respected by her peers. Mayor Joe Hogsett asking the public to think of Leith as they lit the city blue last night for first responders. The mayor speaking of her courage and drive to serve the people of this city.
Officer Leith turned toward the danger. She heard the call, and she went bravely toward that which could do her harm, because she knew if she didn't, harm may come to others.
Officer Leith was born and raised in Indianapolis. She attended Southport High School before joining the force. And now the question going forward today is how those funeral arrangements will be handled during this COVID-19 pandemic that has the city on lockdown. Now, we know that typically a line of duty death includes a funeral procession as well as a last call and several other traditions that typically go with something tragic like this. And of course, as soon as we have the details on that, we'll bring them to you. Reporting live, Alyssa Donovan, RTV6.
Alyssa, thank you. Another woman was shot inside that East Side apartment where Officer Leith was fatally wounded. After police had secured the scene at Edinburgh Square, that shooting victim was taken to a hospital, and we are told she is stable. The shooting suspect was then taken into custody. The identity of that suspect has not been released. Officer Leith is the second woman serving on the IMPD force to be killed in the line of duty. The first was Officer Teresa Hawkins in August of 1993. She was hit and killed by a drunk driver at East 36th Street and Emerson Avenue. She was also responding to a domestic disturbance. Officer Hawkins was 28 years old when she died and had served the police department for 5 years. There is much more about the life and legacy of Officer Brianne Leith right now on the RTV6 app and the IndyChannel.com.
Nicole, now to the latest on the COVID-19 and its spread in our state. The state reported new deaths on Thursday, more than any day since that pandemic began here in Indiana. The coronavirus has now claimed the lives of 245 Hoosiers. Here's the latest details. A look at the map from the state health department. More than 6,300 people have now tested positive for COVID-19 around our state. You can see the concentration of cases right here in central Indiana. Marion County, of course, has the most cases with more than 2,400. 81 people in the county have died from the virus. As for the growth in the cases, here's that chart from the health department. The number of new cases reported was virtually identical the last 2 days. Health officials say to remember that more people may actually be carrying the coronavirus, but they may not be showing the symptoms, and as a result, have not been tested.
Coming up on Good Morning Indiana, how do you enforce the ongoing stay-at-home order? We will talk to a prosecutor who has a warning for you if you are sick while you are out and about in the public.
And they're already considered an essential business since they can help people keep your home functioning. But coming up next, we'll show you how that business is making its employees essential in another very key way. On this Good Friday, you are watching Good Morning Indiana. We're so happy you're with us. You're watching it right here on RTV6.
Forks online auction and virtual event.
Marion County Prosecutor Ryan Mears says he will aggressively prosecute anyone who tests positive for COVID-19 and takes steps to infect others. At this point, the prosecutor's office is not aware of any incidents happening in Marion County. However, Mears says numerous criminal charges could apply if someone knows they have the virus and coughs or sneezes on other people.
There's also an argument that it's battery. Because, I mean, you are touching another person if you're sneezing, if you're coughing, with the intent to hurt that person. And so we would definitely push the limits of the law in order to make sure that we could keep people safe and hold people accountable.
The prosecutor's office has already started charging people who violate the stay-at-home order. Most charges across the state are connected with other crimes like drunk driving.
The pandemic has been a punch in the gut to businesses big and small. One local company has found a way to keep its people on the job while also helping others. Our Kelsey Anderson has their story. Kelsey, what an exciting program. Fill us in and good morning.
HVAC and plumbing are considered essential businesses right now. But for the folks at William Comfort Air and Mr. Plumber, they have stopped doing preventative maintenance, saying that's not essential right now. And they're hoping they can help stop the spread of COVID-19. But they still want their employees to get a full week's work, so they've come up with a new plan to help the community.
We don't want to be part of the problem with COVID-19 and the spread of it. We want to be part of the solution.
Matt Tyner is the director of marketing for Williams Comfort Air and Mr. Plumber. He tells me during this pandemic, they want to give back.
This is a time for us to stop just being HVAC technicians or plumbing technicians.
Tyner tells me because they have stopped doing non-essential appointments like preventative maintenance, tune-ups, and inspections, they need to find a way for their employees to still get a full week's work.
We'll do free grocery deliveries for anyone within our coverage area that is considered high risk.
He tells me they've also added doctors, nurses, and first responders to the list of people they'll deliver to. If you live in their service area and want to take advantage of their offer, all you have to do is call.
We just ask that people go place their order as normal on Kroger Click List, Meijer Curbside, Walmart, Target, place their online orders like usual. Write down the information, the confirmation number, and store location. Give our team a call.
Tyner says the only thing they ask is that the pickup time is set between 8 and 5, Monday through Friday.
We're here for whoever needs us.
Again, make sure you are writing down the confirmation number and the store location, so when you call Williams Comfort Air, they know where to be so they can help you in the best way they know how. Working for you, Kelsey Anderson, RTV6.
Kelsey, thank you. The pandemic has been a burden for many businesses, but many others continue to serve you. Up next, how RTV6 is working together with the Indy Chamber to help local businesses and how you can take part. Todd.
And the weather headline this morning is the cold temperatures that are in place. Freeze warnings posted. We're hovering right around 32 degrees, but we'll warm up quickly today. That is the good news. Unfortunately, we'll still deal with a little bit of a breeze throughout the day today as those winds gust up to 20 to 25 miles per hour. We'll talk about that and look ahead to your Easter weekend forecast as well. Coming up when Good Morning Indiana continues.
Can you imagine 24 hours without heartburn?
We know times are tough right now for small businesses. You've seen our We're Open Indy campaign highlighting local businesses that continue to serve you during this pandemic. But Raphael, that is not all we are doing here at RTV6 to help out.
That's right. So, Nicole, it made perfect sense for us to really team up with the Indy Chamber on their Buy Indy campaign. Our good friend Lauren Casey shows us more about the Buy Indy campaign and how we can all connect with that effort.
I think that the Hoosiers are strong, hospitable, and helping people by nature. And I think we're seeing that now more than ever, so we want to continue that momentum.
Josh Baker runs Hi-Fi Indy, a 400-capacity concert and special events venue nestled in the heart of Fountain Square.
Obviously, everyone's affected, everyone in different ways. You know, the music and events industry is one that is pretty hard hit.
With the necessary efforts to flatten the curve, industries like entertainment are being hit hard by COVID-19.
It impacts us, 2, 3, 4 months down the line just because of the routings of the tours and all the other logistics that go into that.
The Indianapolis region is home to just under 43,000 small businesses, and those businesses employ more than 500,000 people. So the Indy Chamber is launching a new campaign called Buy Indy, a huge push to support, engage, and promote our local small businesses.
Our hope is that, number one, people stay healthy and they slow the spread of the disease. And then second, they support their local businesses by buying Indy.
Joe Pellman with the Indy Chamber says with RTV6, the campaign will work to push out the stories and messages of these businesses to consumers in our community. And so here's what you, as a business owner, need to do.
Take out their smartphones, shoot a 30-second video, submit it to buyindy.org, and then we'll share that on our social channels.
As for us consumers, we have a role as well.
Every dollar really helps because we have none coming in. So that goes straight to most of our staff, keeping our employees employed and our lights on and rent paid.
Our dollars, whether it be your stimulus check or not, can help our neighbors like Hi-Fi Indy stay afloat.
So I think it's now even more important that if folks are going to give up their hard-earned discretionary dollars, that they think about where they're going to spend that money.
Working for you, Lauren Casey, RTV6.
Lauren, thank you. If you own a business and would like a promo kit, or if you are looking to support local businesses, just head to buyindy.org. Let's get over to Todd with this cold Friday forecast.
You can say that again, Nicole. I suggest you probably just stay inside for a couple hours here before we start to see the temperatures moderate. And they'll do so pretty quickly once the sun comes up, because right now we are sitting in the 30s across the area. In fact, the low 30s in many locations. Indianapolis hovering right around the freezing mark at 32 degrees. It's 33 in Bloomington. 34 is the current temperature in Muncie. And I mentioned the sun coming up. Once that happens, we have clear skies right now, and you notice the temperature trend already. By the noon hour, we're looking at about 43 degrees, and then we'll level off right around 50 degrees later on this afternoon for your high temperature. As we just build in some fair weather clouds throughout the afternoon, we will dodge all the showers and the snow showers, for that matter, that are up to the north right now throughout the day today. So that's good news. I know yesterday we built in a few sprinkles here and there. Now, tomorrow morning, as you start off your Saturday, it's cold once again. Probably not quite as cold as it was this morning, getting down to about 35 instead of 32 degrees. But tomorrow morning, a frost advisory goes into effect. I know you see frost advisories scrolling through all the counties in the top right-hand portion of your screen. That's actually for tomorrow morning. It's a freeze warning that's in effect right now, but nonetheless, it is going to be very, very chilly for the next couple mornings across the area. Now, over the weekend, we do start to moderate the temperatures a little bit. Tomorrow, we're getting close to 60 degrees. It's the better day of the weekend because it's dry. It has some sunshine. It's not until late in the evening, most likely after sunset, that will start to bring some scattered showers in. So if you're thinking about going for a walk through the neighborhood, maybe going to one of the state parks, remaining socially distant, when you do so, tomorrow's probably the better day. Easter Sunday, we bring some rain in. It's scattered showers already in the morning, but it's warmer. If you're doing the Easter egg hunt at home with the kids, you could probably do it outside and dodge some of those showers. Later in the day, though, if that's when you're doing it with the family, it's going to become fairly wet as the cold front works its way through the area with a temperature that'll be right around 60 degrees. Now, going forward in this forecast, once we get past Sunday evening and that cold front goes through, look at these temperatures. We will be only in the 40s for at least 4, probably even to Friday next week for high temperatures. That is well below the average high of 62 degrees. Overnight low temperatures will be hovering right around the freezing mark. And even as we get into Wednesday and Thursday, depending on the timing of those showers when they come in, if it's later in the afternoon or at night, we could even mix in a few snowflakes as well. So definitely not the spring-like forecast that we've been enjoying for the first half of the month of April. So we'll have to get through at least next week with these cooler temperatures. But then long-range models, the good news is it does look like it turns around towards the end of the month, and we bring some warmth back into this forecast.
All right, Todd, thank you so much. But take a look at this sunrise right now on our traffic camera at the North Split right there. You can see traffic is starting to pick up at this hour, but no crashes to slow you down. They wanted to say thank you to those working hard to take care of people impacted by COVID-19. Next on Good News Friday, part of their stirring tribute to those on the front lines.
Hiring Hoosiers only on RTV6. Welcome back to Good Morning Indiana. We want to end this week really on an up note. This is Good Friday, and we know that for many Christians, this will seem a little bit different because, of course, the pandemic and all this social distancing that we are doing, Nicole.
Yeah, Raphael, many will not be able to gather with loved ones, and many others are facing tough times with the loss of a job. But one local ministry is committed to sharing the love of Christ this Easter by sharing a warm meal with families in need right here in our central Indiana community. Impact Center is a ministry of Mount Pleasant Christian Church in Greenwood. The ministry began in a garage and has grown into a center of worship where people can find hope through the donations of necessary goods like food and clothing. The Impact Center assists more than
people are paying
400 families locally each month, and their efforts are growing during this pandemic. This past week, more than 200 households were served meals in just 2 days. They've also made contact-free home deliveries and called and checked in on more than 200 members this week. And Thursday morning, alongside the owner of a local caterer smokehouse, Impact Center gave out 500 100 hot meals for Easter Sunday with ham and sides. They also included a colored egg and Easter cupcake. Meals were distributed free of charge to all the local families in need. Good to see, Raphael.
Good stuff happening in central Indiana every day, but in this moment in our history, it's great to see. A lot of people are paying tribute to the heroes on the front lines of the pandemic. A professional studio singer here in Indianapolis got other singers around the country to produce a beautiful message. Check this out. I love this, got chills while watching that. The singers made that video last week. Eric Foster says they want to bring hope to America during what we fear may be our darkest week, but they are bringing a lot of light into our lives. What an amazing thing to do, Nicole and Todd.
Yeah, that was just beautiful. Todd, give us our last check of our forecast quickly.
Lots of sunshine today. Chilly, though, with high temperatures right around 50 degrees. Still pretty breezy throughout the day today.
Todd, thank you. We're back in 25 minutes and throughout Good Morning America with news, weather, and traffic updates. Remember, all of your news can be found on the RTV6 app.